Okay, everybody, we're moving on to part 2 of the tutorial here. And a few things I wanted to talk about. Basically, we want to start thinking about, creating a model based on 25 cubes. That's the first part of the assignment, thinking about how to use primitive objects, specifically cubes, and to try to use them as building blocks to create something out of. So we're going to be popping in some more models. So what I'm going to do here is create just a simple, goofy little bench and show you how you can do some grouping and copy and paste and move things around in that sort of way. So let's take a look. I'm going to bring in another cube, and I'm going to take a look at that on all 4 viewports. I'm going to take the cube and I'm going to change the scale of it a little bit. I'm going to make the height of it 100, and then I'm just going to grab the handlebars here and move this in a little bit this way and move it in a little bit this way to create this sort of bench leg. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over. So I'm going to move it into position here onto the left side, and then it's going to fall over because there's only one pediment there. So let's make another one. Now one thing we can do in the Objects Manager is we can do some labeling. So if I start with this top of the bench, I can double click this and I can rename it. So I'll call this top, and this one I'm going to call left leg. Alright, and then if I copy this and I paste it, it's going to put another one in the exact same position. And this is helpful in many ways. Now I can take that one in the same position, the same scale as well, and I can just simply move it over to the other side and relabel it. This one becomes the right leg. Okay, and so now I have an object that's grouped together. Now if I wanted to move the whole thing, I could just select all of these together. If I click and hold that down, I can select all of them in the Objects Manager, and then I could move this around however I wanted to. Now if I want to keep this together, I can also group it. So when they're highlighted, you can also group these things together by going up in the Objects Manager, going to clicking on Objects, and then going down to Group Objects. Okay, and this what will happen here is it will create what's called a null, and a null is just a hierarchy. It's sort of a label that grabs everything and binds it together. So if we click on the plus here, you can see all those things are inside of that null, and I can just double click on the word null and then call this bench. All right, so now I have a bench, and I can just simply click here, and now I have my icons that I can move around in that sort of way. So I'm going to make a tower of benches. All right, so if I take this, I can also copy this and paste this. Again, it puts another one right in the same position, so I will take that one, bench point 1, and raise it up here a little bit, and then I'm also going to twist it just a little bit, just like that. That's pretty good. Okay, and then I can do the same thing here, copy this, paste it, click on the Move tool, move it up, alright, and then rotate that ever so slightly, and now I have a nice group of 3. So I can continue to group and group and group if I like to make things a little bit easier. So I'm just going to minimize all those. I'm going to select all these guys. Again, I'm going to group the objects. I'm going to rename this 3 benches. All right, and then I can copy this and paste this, and now I have an even larger scale of these guys coming together. All right, so you can see that this allows you, if you're working in units of some sort, this allows you to quickly manipulate your objects, move them around, and shift them around a little bit. Okay, now if we go back and take these apart a little bit, you can always click on any of these, again, move them separately. You can also open them up. So if I wanted to open up this bench right here and I wanted to move just the top of this one, okay, I could still move that, right? I can still grab that and move that out if I want to. So that allows you to sort of play around with things a little bit as well. If you want to really shift the space a little bit, you can start to manipulate each one individually. You can always go back and do that for these objects. So you still have the option for changing and manipulating things. You want to try to keep fairly organized here, because if everything is labeled cube, you're going to get very confused very fast, right? But you can always continue to group, regroup. You can also select all of these things and copy and paste them, and then have multiple of those elements, and that allows the grouping to to continue. So you can just keep thinking about how you can group, organize, label, and then that helps you to quickly generate 25 objects pretty easily. So here we have my spiraling tower of benches. Pretty amazing, huh? Okay, let's take a look. So there you go. We got a nice model going around. I've quickly copied and pasted many models together. I've organized them fairly well, not the best, but fairly well in the objects manager. And I've created something really quickly that if I had to do each one of these individually and place them, it would take a very, very long time. So copy and paste is a great tool. Again, remember, it's always whatever one you want to copy, it's going to put it right back in the same exact position. So you paste it, you may not see it, but check it out, see if what appears in the objects manager, and then move it accordingly. And then finally, use the grouping tool to help you to organize your model. And finally, label everything. Label them. It's going to label them for you with point 1, point 2, point 3, but you still want to label individual pieces so you know exactly where everything is. That's it for now. Let's find you're set off to do at least 25 cubes to create some sort of interesting combination of forms.